Hey y'all, it's Phil and Marty, and we're at the Havana Cafe in Roppongi or Tokyo Midtown, and we're drinking our mojitos. Kanpai. Kanpai is cheers in Japanese. And we're just complaining about the irrationality out there in the world. So recently, this week, Marty, I've been swamped with all kinds of irrationality of various Christians who want to defend facts, they call facts of evolution and facts of how they know with 100% certainty their God exists. And there's been so many fallacies I've had to deal with and so many silly arguments. So how about you? You get tired of dealing with theists?
Yes, absolutely. I feel that you're a lot more passionately upset about this at this point, which is great. I'm
an actor too. I pretend to be upset. It's fun.
I don't know how to respond to that, but okay. I think it's a good tool. God, I don't know. It's the same old shit. So I kind of am at a point where I think, is there any way to word this to get through to these people's minds? But then at the same time, I like questioning myself and thinking, is what I'm thinking actually right at all? I don't know. I'm just kind of in that kind of bubble right now. Okay. So
So when you confront theists on their irrationality, what kind of tone do you take? Do you take in a very antagonistic tone? Because I've been dabbling with different approaches. Sometimes I'm very gentle, very polite, and try to do things very systematically. Once in a while, that works.
I think I'm a lot more just... Sadly, I probably sound like I just don't give a fuck what they think. Oh, no, that's not the right way. I think I'm not looking down on anyone, but I'm so fed up with it all that I have no faith in actually getting through to anyone. So there's no anger. I'm kind of just talking in numbness and disappointment, I think.
I do think I'm reaching people. So I think I've been doing this for several years now, and there has been a substantial number of results. When I say results, I mean people who have indicated that my post or my opinion has affected them to some degree. Some of these people are already non-Christians and more atheistic, but other people have been theists and have come to understand the irrationality of it all through, I hope, was my pushing or my prodding. So I think it does have an effect.
It's a small percentage, I guess. I mean, if I can speak to someone who's not completely closed off and total, I don't know, just zombie mind maniac, if I can talk to someone who is actually giving me a chance to say something and vice versa, so we can actually process each other's opinions, then I would happily sit down and have a discussion. But if I'm talking to a zombie wall, I just can't be fucking bothered.
Right.
So.
But okay, here's what I perceive to be the benefits of confronting Christians who will never change their minds. Number one, there's an audience, a silent audience, watching the dialogue that are paying attention to your arguments. And
but that's on like a, depends on the...
Yeah.
I was talking about one-on-one conversations.
Oh, one-on-one. I don't do one-on-ones very often.
Yeah, no, if it's not one-on-one, then I'll go for it, whatever, chatting, videos, right. Because it's a bigger audience, obviously, there is the likelihood of someone listening to it from a different perspective or whatever.
So sometimes people want to have a dialogue with me one-on-one, and I won't do it because I don't have an audience. Because I know they'll never change their mind, so my time is wasted, for the most part. However, not only is there a silent audience watching when you publicly debate someone, there's also a couple other benefits. One being the fact that you can hone your own arguments. You can make your own arguments stronger.
Well, it's practice.
It's just practice. And number two, you might be wrong. I might be wrong. So it helps me. I'm actually sincere about asking them, is there any way you can explain this in a rational way? Because I really do want to know whether I'm wrong. So I'm out there asking for Christians to, for example, tell me how the Jesus who blessed people who believe more after seeing less, how that is rational. Because I don't see how that is possibly rational. And modern apologists, modern Christians want to say that the Bible is rational. And it's not. The Bible is not rational. Jesus was not rational. Jesus blessed the people who believe more after seeing less evidence.
Yes.
So that's one thing I've been dealing with recently. That's annoying.
No, but not that I haven't formed this at all in my head, so it's probably going to sound like total shit, but just think of a new Jesus that pops up. He doesn't call himself Jesus, but he does pretty much what Jesus does. Wouldn't he be thrown away in like a mental institute or something? Or he would actually be successful and create another cult, but I think most people in this day and age will look at it very, very,
Actually, you mentioned that, and there is, in Australia now, some guy who claims to be Jesus, incarnate. Did you hear about that?
Great. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's kind of upsetting.
Interesting.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't remember this whole situation, but type in Google Australian Jesus. And
What,
I think
like
it
too
might,
much LSD or something? Or just
I have no
total
idea.
batshit
I forget what that's all
Or
about.
is he like a con artist? One or the other.
Yeah, but for the most part, he's not paid attention to by modern Christians. Why? Because calling yourself Jesus nowadays, or calling yourself the Son of God nowadays, is considered to be insanity. But 2,000 years ago, the insanity of someone who was called Jesus, if the Bible is to be believed, made people believe him and write stories about him. So there's this book with many alleged miracles and testimonies from people who saw Jesus. It's an old book. It's an unsubstantiated old book that is full of stories. If those stories existed today, they would not be believed. But because it's 2,000 years old, there's something mysterious or mystic about the antiquity of an old book that somehow makes it more believable, and I don't understand that. It's like Chinese ancient medicines that are purported today to be more or as effective as modern medicine simply because it's old. Chinese medicine is promoted to be more efficacious simply because it's old.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Why is something better because it's old? Why is Chinese medicine better because it's old? Why is a particular religion better because it's from an old book?
But let's use the whole Chinese medicine thing. And I would say that perhaps people who may believe in it, I think it has a lot to do with the mental state. And maybe there is this whole, apparently if you make your brain believe something enough, maybe it has a small impact on whatever's going on.
You mean placebo?
Placebo. There you go. So, no, but I'm not agreeing with it. I'm saying that I'm actually kind of threading it to religion where it doesn't make any sense, but because people believe in it so much that it's like this strange. Well, there you go. They believe it so much that maybe it kind of works for them in a weird spiritual level. I don't know. I'm probably not making any sense, but to me, it kind of makes a link.
It's psychogenic. It's
Yeah.
all this psychological.
Yeah.
It's the brain healing itself. That's the best you can say of it. It's the brain healing itself.
Well, yeah.
And anything else that can make a person believe that something was efficacious, was able to heal them, it would work too. So the subject, the actual denotation of the is not important. The only thing that matters is that you believe something will heal you. That's it.
I guess it just takes away the stress as well.
What does, for example?
No, if you believe in something in that positive light, your, as you say, placebo effect. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I can understand why some people, certain types of people, cultures, countries, whatever, are religious, etc. It's just, why is it so freaking difficult to snap people out of it, right? It's like people are so afraid of everything and so fucking, I don't know, entitled that they can't let go of things and see things from a different perspective or a different light, and it's just kind of frightening. And I know that I can only stand here saying this because of perhaps my upbringing and where I was, born, etc. I don't know, I can probably say that, but at the same time, I guess I'm fortunate enough to be able to rationalize my life and understand that religion isn't the way to go for me, and I think for humanity. I can try and see it from a bigger picture, and all I see is brainwashed, controlled, money making, just organizations, and it really does upset me.
Yeah.
So there you go.
This week, I've had encounters with theists who insist that we need to believe in something. I'm not sure what that means. They say rationality is too restrictive, it's limiting. Well, yes, that's what rationality is. It limits you to processing things in a way that correspond to reality. So rationality allows you to implement rules of logic and ways of seeing their world that comport with the way things actually are. Unless you're following the rules of rationality, anything goes. You throw away rationality, you can believe anything. So, yes, rationality is restrictive. Rationality is limiting. Rationality confines you to the constraints of reality.
No, rationality basically limits you from becoming a total fool.
So is irrationality a beautiful thing because it allows you to believe anything you want? Or are the constraints of rationality in which you're forced to confront reality as it really is the better of the two options?
I think if you want to believe whatever you want, believe like spiritual people, whatever. I'm not saying that I'm not spiritual, but believe what you want. But when it becomes a part of this scary, controlling, world domineering kind of creepy cult thing that is actually really harming everyone and the world, I think that's when you need to take a step back and think, fuck, maybe I should have a little bit of a, sit down and think about this. Like, why is it so difficult? Oh, Christianity is okay, it's the other ones. It's like, oh, fuck you. It's like, come on, how is Christianity any better than any other religion out there? And I don't want to rip into Buddhism because, Buddhism might be the most, perhaps, peaceful, but at the same time, it's still, I don't know, I don't want to rip into Buddhism. I'll let Buddhism be.
I have a question. I was interacting with a post on Facebook today, which suggested that maybe we should allow little children to have their delusions, such as Santa Claus and whatnot, so they don't have to face the cruel world we actually live in. And I disagreed. I thought that why allow a child to believe in delusions when this time could be spent teaching that child the tools of rationality, so when that child is older, that child can contribute to society. That child may become a scientist because they have a stronger background in rationality and may contribute to technological, medical, and just general social advances
But
that may benefit future generations.
Are you saying that we should tell them from the beginning that they do not exist, or are you waiting
That what?
to tell them from the beginning that Santa Claus and the spaghetti monster or whatever doesn't exist, or are you saying that you would just wait until they asked, and then if they ask, you say, oh no, they sure don't, and this is why? Like, which one are you getting at?
Good question. A lot of non-theist parents do not tell their children what to believe, and allow their children to believe whatever they want, and but only teach their children how to process assertions made by people around them. So I think good parents teach their children basic tools of rationality, which includes requiring evidence and proper standards of evidence, a basic foundation of skepticality. Skepticism. Skepticality is the name of a podcast. Skepticism. So if they have those things, then I think children are well prepared to grow up into very rational adults who can deal with the world around them and contribute to society.
Yes.
I think that some non-theist parents actually lie to their children, kind of winking at them, so that the children know that they cannot believe the authority figures around them. So I did that with my children to a certain degree. I would tell them a story with a straight face and let them determine whether or not I was telling them a lie. I think that's effective, because then they have to process in their heads exactly what it might be that makes something true or false.
Yeah. Precisely.
So, who annoys you most? Who annoys you most? The theist, the alternative medicine people, or any other group of irrational folk?
Probably theists, I think.
Yeah, theists are quite consistently irrational.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the sense. I'm not disregarding anyone else. I just find it, especially in theists, the entitlement, I don't know, anything. If you try and I don't want to say, let's not say bash, but if someone started trying to bash my beliefs, I'm not really going to get uptight and freaked out about it. I'll be quite happy to explain myself. I feel like theists get incredibly emotional because either their crazy, irrational madness is in a little box and it's all secured and it's all coated by their crazy theist shit. And so if someone comes in and tries to spray a hose on it, they start freaking out, which is like fair enough. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, they don't have a whole, like, I feel like perhaps they are actually emotionally unstable and afraid of what actually is, and they like to code it with all this bullshit. I'm not saying that they're all aware of this, I just think that they don't have a firm, healthy, confident stance on what they believe. You come across the occasional theist who is actually quite confident and laid back, etc. And that's pretty cool, actually. We have a good conversation and la la la. I'm like, that's cool. Works. I guess it works for you. But the majority of people I come across are just crazy, emotional nutbags. And I'm not saying that atheists aren't. I'm just saying that for myself and most of my atheist friends, I believe that their reaction isn't some emotional, crazy firework kind of shit that's birds.
Well, I have been arguing recently with atheists who are irrational too. Yeah, there's one atheist guy who's a strong atheist and says that agnostics are stupid, irrational folk who don't have the guts to take themselves as atheists. So.
I don't believe that.
So the irrationality is not limited to theists.
Oh no, of course not. I just find that the emotional outbursts come a lot from, well, which I've encountered with kind of wrong theists. I don't know, it's kind of like a get away from me, I will not discuss my beliefs, and I just think,
That's
wow,
right.
how insecure are you?
Exactly. So anyone can attack me. If you have a logical argument, you can attack me.
Yeah, of
And
course, attack me too.
sometimes I seem arrogant because I'm very, very, very certain of my beliefs because I've spent many years assessing them and spent many years throwing them out in the public arena and have tested them. So maybe I'm overly confident. But I would really appreciate it if someone could demonstrate that I was logically wrong. I have been wrong before. I want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I learn something. Unfortunately, the Christians take a different approach. They obfuscate what they believe. They evade when you ask questions. They don't want to answer questions. It's a completely different approach. So I'm out there. I tell people what I believe. So recently, here's what I've encountered. I ask Christians a question, and what they'll do is they'll just simply ask me another question without answering my initial question, and then claim I'm evading the question when they haven't asked my original question. It's rather frustrating, annoying, and irritating, but that's becoming more and more the tactic of Christians. They have nothing else to fall back on. They don't have logic on their side. They don't have evidence on their side. So all they can do now.
It's like selective logic, you know. Everything else that's logical in the world apparently makes sense to them, but when it comes to this, it's not necessary. Why is it so selective?
Because it allows their emotions, the emotions they chose, the emotions that they deem necessary for them to be happy, to exist. If they applied rationality to their emotions, they might have to give up their emotions that are obviously irrational. Okay, anything else you want to say?
No. Not really.
So yeah, from time to time it gets rather frustrating and annoying to deal with theists, and you're repeating the same arguments over and over. However, it is productive. You might change people's minds. Once in a while, you change the minds of the people you're actually debating. Other times, you're changing the minds of people on the sidelines, the silent audience. Arguing theists also helps you hone your arguments so that you're presenting them in the most optimal way. And other times, debating theists
I'm incredibly far away.
that's right. And other times, debating theists allows you to model proper arguments that other non-theists, less schooled in public debate, public discourse, can take and utilize later on in their own dialogues, their own debates. So, Marty, your head is very, very small.
Yeah, maybe we should take it like this more often.
And there's Tim. Tim, poke your head in and say hi. That's Tim,
See the resemblance.
my brother.
Yeah.
Other times, you are.
Sorry, did you lose your train of thought?
I did. Other times. Oh my God. Why? I have a telephone call. Tim, what happened?